one thing that bothers me is like, so
people
we have
talk about your
network
dog?
attached storage here at the studio, right? So it's like you want to connect to a server to get files or transfer files and
A
whatnot.
NAS.
Right. And it's like, okay, I'm going to browse to our file server. There it is. I'm going to open the drive. Mac OS remembers the view that the last person in that drive had.
Oh, yeah.
So
Really?
it's always like set up into the columns. It's not icons. It's set reverse date by access, and then every folder is expanded into its
they're like-
subdirectories.
yep.
It's like, what fucking monster came through and left the folder like this? Who doesn't drill down into the folder looking for like, I'm just going to expand every
hate
tree at
that.
the top
I
level
hate it.
and find everything.
That arrow that twists down and
Yeah.
expands a folder, that should be a hold down. Like, you
Right.
expand it and you have a look and you let go and it goes back.
Right. It should be spring. Yeah.
It's like opening all the drawers in an office.
Right.
And walking
That's exactly what it's like. It's like walking into a file room and every file cabinet drawer is just open and folders are just thrown out
I'd
everywhere.
love that if that actually applied to real rooms. Like, you go into a room, but it's the way the last person wanted it. So it's like all decorated differently and everything's tipped all over the floor and stuff. It'd be so annoying.
It's really, and I always secretly suspect that it's Brandon who like expands all of these trees and leaves them all open.
So you
Wouldn't
kicked
seem out of.
you kick Miles out.
Yeah.
Do you still kick people out?
Good move.
Yeah, if I don't know them.
You do?
Yeah.
So you know everyone's face?
Most people, I think, yeah.
All I cared about was Batman and Superman, but then they have to give us Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Doomsday, Lex Luthor, fucking Lois is still gonna be fucking around doing something. Like,
It's too much.
I
for
liked
too
Man
much
of
for
Steel more than I thought I would. Like, I've never been a big Superman fanboy just because he's the fucking.
Well, it sounds like you know everything about Superman right now.
Well, no, I don't know everything about Superman, but I know that, like, okay, his greatest weakness is kryptonite. That's not
Everyone
interesting.
knows that.
That's a rock. Like, I can't remember who it was that made
That's
the
like saying
comparison.
your greatest weakness is uranium. That's not interesting. It's a rock.
But no, an interesting weakness is something to me that's like really personal, that has a lot of emotion behind it. Like
Like a rock from his home planet doesn't have a lot of
Like-
emotion behind it. His planet that exploded.
yeah,
and
but
then
it's not
everyone
like
died.
it's not when Lex Luthor comes up to him with kryptonite, he doesn't go, "Oh, my parents." No, he goes, "Ah, kryptonite."
It does seem
cancer.
weird that Superman is allergic to rocks from his own planet. He would have been like the biggest wimp in the world on his own planet.
Well, it's
the
because it's
planet
super
exploded.
irradiated from whatever the fuck.
I'm sure you're pretty allergic to the core of the earth if it hit you in the face.
But if somebody stood about 20 feet away with it, I wouldn't be like, ugh.
It's what made everyone normal, right? It's like if you went to another planet and you discovered rocks on Earth are what made you normal and that you're a superhuman, really. Right? Isn't
No,
that the
it's
explanation?
sun. The sun does something to him.
I don't know. I'm guessing here.
I don't know.
So
What
you
I-
think like because it brings him back to normal? Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
Yeah, but
Right.
it's worse than normal.
in general,
Okay.
there's a comparison
know.
between Marvel and DC heroes, which is Marvel heroes are normal people trying to be heroes, and DC heroes are heroes trying to be normal people. And I think to me that's what makes a lot of Marvel heroes more interesting, because they're relatable. Like Tony Stark and his problem with like alcoholism, and Peter Parker who's just a fucking dweeb.
What about
Like, you
Captain
relate to
America?
that. Fucking Superman, Captain America. I think it has to do with like all of his friends that he's lost.
Yeah,
Like,
he's trying to fit in a time that.
yeah, in a time that he's not familiar with, and he doesn't like.
But all
He's
the
making new
mutants are
friends.
right. They're heroes. I mean, all the mutants are like they're bits built in.
True, but I guess you could say that mutants are relatable in the same way that, like, you know, segregation against different races and stuff. There's a lot of like hate against
Which
them.
they're starting to layer some of that stuff in with Superman now. Like
They are.
when I grew up,
They are.
there was no talk about Superman being an alien. But now it's like that seems to be a common thread in Superman stories, is that he actually is not from this planet.
Right.
He's an alien.
I guess that's a current comic series that Greg Miller always tweets about as well.
That was a
the
cool thing of Man of
Superman
Steel.
American Alien.
Yeah.
When he was like being right at the end, everyone's like, "We don't know if we can trust you." He's already saved the world, and he's like, "I grew up in Kansas. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?"
Right.
Yeah, no, and
Because
like
Man of Steel was a lot like that.
yeah, there's a bunch of really good moments like that, and the very first teaser for Batman v Superman I thought was really cool, playing up the fact it's like, yeah, if there was a fucking godlike superhero on Earth, that would be a fucking problem. Like, people would not be okay with that, especially like there's an alternate. I think it's called the Red Sun, where Superman crashes in Russia.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, that's a really highly controversial. There would be like cults to his following, and I thought it was really interesting that they were going to touch on that. But now I feel like we're not going to really get to explore that at all, because we'll be too busy watching Doomsday fight
Don't worry.
them, and then they'll have to.
In the next reboot, you get all of that stuff. Let's reboot it all
It'll
again
be
in a
like
couple
Half-Life
of years.
3.
We know, man, for Superman for a long period of time, his motto was that he fights for truth, justice, and the American way. And it's like they don't use the American way bit anymore. Yeah.
It also, he didn't used to not be like it used to be he wasn't able to fly. Like, he started just being able to
he
jump
was
over a
jumper.
thing. What was it?
He could just jump
leap
really
a
high.
skyscraper.
That's what the
and
Hulk
bound
does.
or
Hulk can
whatever.
just jump miles
And
at
it's
a
pretty
time.
great. I love watching him do that.
Hulk's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, leap buildings with a single
There's
bound. I never thought about it.
It wouldn't happen with the Hulk. The Hulk would just go, "Ah," and his feet would go through the floor. Like, how would he get any lift ever?
What do you mean? He could do it on top of.
He's always jumping up like from the middle of a street.
Oh,
Like,
that's
the road
tough.
would collapse.
Yeah, it would. They showed something in the Matrix. I really like that when it's like when Neo goes to take off and just tears the street up wherever he is. Yeah. A little ripple.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love to see Matrix. I could stand a reboot for like some other director.
I saw a long-winded explanation of the Matrix fairly recently. It was like buried in the comments section somewhere.
Did it make it
was it narrated by the Merovingian?
It was like buried in the comments somewhere in a Reddit thread, and it was a super long explanation of why the Matrix sequels were actually good movies, and it made me want to go back and rewatch them.
You should go back and rewatch them. I liked them a lot more after I rewatched them years later.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen them since they were in the theater, so I'd like to go back and like
that Burley Bros is not going to hold up.
It doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up, but you got to kind of like just let that go.
That was one of the things I wondered if the Matrix actually holds up, because one of the things that made it so like whoa was a lot of the cinematography things. That
the first Matrix definitely does.
I've rewatched the original Matrix since then, and that holds up. The only scene that's kind of weird is when Neo jumps into Agent Smith at the end. Spoiler. And his face like deforms and like gets stretched out.
Well,
it looks like an Animorph or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks really weird, flat and weird.
Well, the Matrix always has a thing that can fall back on where if it looks computer generated, they are in a computer generated environment. You know what I mean?
So like when the helicopter hits the side of the building and there's like a big like ripple through the building.
So cool.
Whoa.
So, did you ever see Kill Bill? Those movies? Okay, because David Carradine's character Bill has a big long monologue about the difference between Superman and other superheroes. When
I don't remember it. It's been a long time.
It talks about identities, like Bruce Wayne grew up and made the identity Batman.
Yes.
And that Peter Parker made the identity Spider-Man. And it's like to be heroes, but Superman is Superman. Those are his clothes that he came down in. That's his cape. That's his clothes, and that he dresses as Clark Kent. What's that?
Not in the TV show with Dean Cain.
Anyways,
his mum made the suit for him.
I'd make a slight disagreement on
Batman, the blankets from the thing, though.
Oh, was it? Oh.
That was always the thing. The blankets that were in the Krypton rocket that he came from.
His alien spacecraft.
Yeah, his alien spacecraft that landed in Kansas. She took the blankets out of that and made his suit. I believe she always made his suit. That was the thing. And it's impenetrable. Somehow she was able to sew it with the Singer sewing machine, but it's still impenetrable.
Well, the new one is not.
It's made with love.
But the thing is that Superman's commentary on humanity is his Clark Kent identity. That he puts on the glasses, that's his opinion of humanity. That's how he's going to blend in, is by being this weak, lame person. I would say that was an interesting take on it.
But I'd say the same thing about Bruce Wayne. After the events that happened to Bruce Wayne is just as crazy as the bad guys that he puts away. It's just that he happens to be fighting for something different. Whereas the Joker fights for anarchy and chaos and eventually becomes obsessed with Batman. Batman fights for, what he believes is justice, vigilante, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Bruce Wayne is the persona that he puts on. I think they actually touch on it at the end of Batman Begins, where the lady's like, no, this is your mask.
That was a tender, weird moment.
But essentially, he always thinks like Batman. It's whenever he goes out in public, he has to put on the persona of Bruce Wayne. Oh, millionaire bachelor. Woohoo, I'm going to buy this place. When in reality, he's like, I fucking hate all you people.
He does that as late as what's the last one? Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. Like when he brings the models to dinner with Harvey Dent. Is that right? And then they get in the fountain and all that stuff. Like, he puts on the show of being a big playboy.
Yeah, I think that's the second one.
Is that the second one?
That's the second one.
So it's interesting to watch The Martian. I was watching when towards the end of it.
Yeah.
When he dies. Spoiler. It doesn't happen. So, have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh my God, really? Go see The Martian.
I don't do anything.
The Martian is a really good movie. Although it's weird that it got classified as a musical or comedy.
Wait, what?
It is a comedy. The book is way more comedic.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Did you see when they were doing...
I don't think the weight loss, the skinny version of himself, I don't think that was him.
No, that's totally not him.
Double.
Did you see the visual... When they were showing the visual effects reels for each movie nominated during the Academy Awards, when they showed the clip from The Martian, they showed that his beard was digitally added on.
Yeah, what's that?
I was like, why is his beard a layer? Like, they showed here's, Matt Damon standing in a suit, and here's all of the visual effects to make it look like Mars, and here's the beard layer. Like,
what the fuck?
There's probably an easier way to do that.
That sounds like so much tracking and effort. Oh my God, really?
Oh, the individual fibers? Oh my God.
It was really... maybe he did have a real beard for some of the close-up stuff, but for that one, that doesn't make sense either. I don't know.
That's weird. Here, someone that works on The Martian.
You know what?
Get back to us on that.
Sometimes really, there's so many. Go read the book The Martian by Andy Weir.
Do they add beard to that one?
Or they didn't add any digital beard. But there's so much good stuff in the book that's not in the movie. Yeah. Have you read and seen both, right?
I hate when people say that the book's better than the movie, but the book is definitely way better than the movie.
It's way more about survival math and the way it starts. It's way more vulgar, too.
It's way more
vulgar,
grueling it's, you know, I feel like in the movie it's like, oh, here's a little problem, it's fixed. Here's a little problem, it's fixed. In the book, it's like, this is impossible. I'm going to die. There's no way to fix this. And then like, maybe this will work. Okay, cool, it worked. You know, it's a lot more grim.
I don't know. There's a pretty huge setback in the movie when the whole
They
room
don't even
explodes.
touch on the big setbacks.
Oh, really?
Like
Alright.
even the thing
I'm gonna read the
exploding,
book.
that is a huge deal. Like it's way worse in the.
We're talking about when the airlock blows off.
Yeah.
Okay. Or people are gonna be like, I haven't seen
Oh,
the fucking
sorry.
Martian.
No, you're
No,
fine.
that,
I'm
that's
just chilling.
it's not.
So we're not.
I'm looking at camera.
Did you ever see
six,
that
whatever.
thing?
One thing that wasn't included though was the plan for cannibalism, which they left out of the movie entirely. Do you remember that?
No.
The cannibalism on the Hermes.
Okay. Oh right, yeah.
And there's such a great moment, especially with Rodriguez in there, where. Anyway,
it's
you
fine.
said now we're in this thing where we can't talk about it because the movie's only been out for fucking 8 months or whatever.
Here, let me read this.
Oh, he's
You're
reading
good.
the thing now.
Go see The Martian.
Go see the Martian.
Okay. Did you know that I didn't watch the X-Files growing up because the theme song scared me?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see
I'm gonna
that.
turn down the volume of
As
the
a
theme
kid,
song and then
like
turn
as
down-
a kid, I'd watch The Simpsons late at night and be like, "Oh, that was great," and then I hear da 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 da, and I'd run out the room with my hands over my ears. It's like, no.
I used to get scared by some dungeons in Zelda.
Oh,
in Link
yeah?
to the Past. Some rooms I just couldn't go in because the music tripped me out.
Vampire level in Conker's Bad Fur Day scared the shit out of me as a kid. Although, like, because you would hear like babies laughing in the distance.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. Wasn't about it. Didn't want to play it.
That's one of the things that gets not scary the earliest in life. Like I found that when I was a kid, I'd be scared by music and stuff, and that wore off way sooner than like being scared of the dark. Like I was scared of the dark longer after into my life than
Interesting.
music.
I still think sound design is like some of the scariest shit.
I had a weird revelation as a little kid about the dark. Like I think all little kids are like kind of scared of the dark. But I remember one time when I was really, really young, you know, I was like in my bedroom or whatever, and the lights were off, and I thought to myself, everything's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing different about this room right now except that there's no light. Like there's being afraid is stupid. And it was like it was just over at that point.
I'll
Still,
do
you
that
can't
sometime.
see what's there.
Right, but in my mind it's like I know what's there. It's exactly what was there earlier.
But that's the thing that scares you though, is when you don't know that there's not nothing.
Wait, right. You don't know
It's like,
in case something is there.
So that's when you get darkness combined with sound design or something. Oh shit! Like so perfect example. A few weeks ago, this has never happened to me before in my life. I kept waking up every half hour from a nightmare, and I didn't sleep that night.
The same nightmare?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't a nightmare as in like normally my nightmares are really narrative. It's like watching a movie for me. But this was, I laid my head down. I feel like I would fall asleep, and then it sounded like someone went up to my nightstand and went, and I immediately shot up. Like somebody was just right there. Another one was, you know, like the little tassels that hang down from your ceiling fan. I lay down, I closed my eyes, and it sounded like someone went up to it, went pop, and hit it against the top of the ceiling fan.
Oh, God.
And every like
they were
30 to
linked.
45 minutes, it just I didn't think that I was asleep. I thought I was awake and that someone was in my room, and I did not fucking sleep.
Maybe it was
that
a
night.
poltergeist.
It could have been. I don't know. Indian burial grounds and
You
shit.
ever
But it
had
was-
anything like that, Gus?
What, like a supernatural thing?
Yeah.
Not me personally, no.
Go ahead. What was the other thing?
I think I've told the story on the podcast before, but when I was at school down in Houston, I knew these girls who lived off campus in an apartment.
Brag about it.
One day, it was like a 2-story apartment. It was like downstairs was the living room, the kitchen, there were stairs, and the 2 bedrooms were upstairs. One of the girls was home alone in her room studying. Then she thought she heard her roommate come home. She walked down the stairs, looked around. There was nobody there. So she's like, all right, maybe it was my neighbor or something. So she walked back up the stairs, then turned off the light for the downstairs. And then she said she heard a whisper that said, "We don't like the dark."
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, so she just ran into her room and locked the door.
F that. Right off.
And normally, like, I don't believe shit like that, but it's like, she wasn't the kind of person to like lie or embellish
that's
or
always
make
the
shit
scary
up.
shit. Yeah.
Right, and like she didn't like telling the story. It was always her roommate who was like, "Tell it, tell it." She's like, "No, I don't want
You
to."
always wonder too, is like ghosts when they do that stuff. They know the person's gonna run into like a bathroom and lock the door. It's a ghost and can go through the door, right? And it's just like, but the ghosts know that people are gonna run off like that. I always wonder what would happen if like the ghost goes, "We don't like the dark," and turns the light and goes, "What the fuck did you say?" And the ghost's like, "Sorry, I thought this was my house." Like,
are you paying the
what
electricity bill, motherfucker?
What happens if you turn to the ghost and confront it? And
you ever see Poltergeist?
And go at it like, "Hey, motherfucker,
Nah, man. That's how they get you. They
Don't-
take your kid.
you just broke my favorite knickknack, you piece of shit."
Do you think a ghost sounds like he's being really friendly, but passing through the different planes of existence, it gets translated?
Maybe
to
it's an
creepy?
accent thing. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
like
a
a ghost-
cultural difference.
Like a ghost is like, you want to play? And it comes out as, you want to play? Get out. I've had this thing recently where
Enjoy the sun.
like lucid dreams are pretty rare. Like you rarely know that you're dreaming.
Right.
But I've been sleeping on planes a lot more. And I just wear an eye mask on a plane like an arsehole, and you just sleep.
He totally does, by the way. Who wears an eye mask? I find that so funny.
I can
What's
sleep
wrong with an eye mask?
Why would you sleep with an eye mask? Just close your eyes.
No,
Yeah.
because you can see
Sometimes
through
there's
your
light.
eyelids.
Maybe the asshole is reading a book
No,
next to you.
I'm with you guys. That's what your eyelids are for.
No.
Eyelids let light in.
Look, I'm gonna put my eye
Absolutely.
mask on.
No, you can still see.
because you're still getting the
Give me a-
lights. You're full of shit.
Give me a bright light.
You're full of shit.
Give you a bright light. Look up. Look up.
I'm getting the lights. I'm getting the lights right now. Russ. I'm getting the lights.
Here is why we've evolved to the point where you don't need to see light through your eyelids anymore. It was like when
You
you're a
don't?
caveman and there's like
It lets you
a-
wake up.
You know, a cheetah was coming and biting your head off. You might need to be like, oh, someone blocked the light. I'm about to get eaten. Wake up, go. Now you're always safe.
Wait a minute.
What?
What's the scenario?
Cheetah.
The cheetah's coming after you. You need to shut your eyes.
No, your eyes are shut. You're asleep. But
So I'm seeing light, right? Be the cheetah. Be the cheetah. Oh, there's something
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I knew because of the light.
Yeah.
Yo,
So
that's
that's
coming through because I'm not wearing a fucking sleeping mask, guys.
Because it pulled your face
Sorry, I got
off,
very
too.
passionate about this.
So anyway,
It's a stupid counter
no.
argument.
Now what we need to evolve is black eyelids. Because it blocks.
All right, now okay, you
Get a
lost me.
tattoo.
It blocks all light. Yeah.
Get a black
If
tattoo.
you
on
if
your
you
eyelids.
tattoo your eyelids black,
Won't do it, but
does
okay.
it stop light? Because I would do that.
If I were to change one thing about the human body, I would make it so that the tube that I use to breathe is not the same tube I use to eat and drink. That is the greatest flaw in the human
Primarily
body.
Well, it's
drink.
only the same
Would you
here,
call
though.
it a choke point?
Nice.
I fucking would.
Oh,
It
anyway,
does
let's-
seem weird that it's like the same tube up until a certain point that forks. And it's like everything's gonna go the right way.
Yeah,
You know, it'll just go like this will go that
It'll
way.
work-
and that'll
it'll
go this
work
way.
itself out.
It's got it.
To me, that's a huge design flaw. If I
Yeah.
may critique this piece of shit.
we won't teach them how to use it, but we'll work it out.
figure it
you know?
out.
Who's we?
The people who made the body.
The people who live in the mountain.
What is that, Darwin? Right?
anyway, let me finish this.
Darwin
Who
made the
invented
body.
evolution?
So you're on
Yeah,
the plane.
let me finish my crappy eyelid story.
It was like a little trademark on everybody's.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he did it in the lab.
presented
He put
by
it together.
Darwin, just on your ass.
So I'm asleep upright on a plane. Got a stupid eye mask on.
As you do.
And I keep getting lucid dreams. And the only reason I know I'm dreaming is because I get curious and I'm like, are my eyes open right now? And I think in real life, I reach up and I feel my eyes are shut and I'm still seeing things. But that's how I know I'm dreaming. Because stuff is happening in front of my closed eyes, but I know my eyes are closed. And it's a really bizarre feeling that I think you only get if you sleep sat upright.
So you're saying in your dream you could see.
Yeah, I'm seeing stuff and I'm
in
like,
your dream you reached up and you touched your face, but then you felt your fingers felt like cloth or whatever, but you didn't see your hands or anything. You just saw.
no, yeah, it's exactly right. So I'm there watching something. I'm thinking,
It's weird.
I don't trust this as reality. Maybe I'm dreaming. Hold on.
So-
my eyes are totally closed. My eyes are closed. I'm
This
dreaming.
is
You're saying
Yeah.
if we ever see you in real life, reach up and touch your eyes, you don't believe what's going on, and you're checking to make sure you're not dreaming.
Yeah, if you see me suddenly go, ow, then I messed up and I wasn't actually dreaming.
It's the equivalent of pinching yourself. That's what Gavin does.
Yeah, and it's cool because and then I start messing with it. I start doing this and I'm like, I can still see
I think
stuff.
I only ever once had a lucid dream in my life, and it's when I was really young. I must have been like 12 or 13. I remember the dream was I was being chased. Like it was a nightmare. It started as a nightmare. Like something was chasing me, and like I ran into a public restroom to hide, and I closed the stall. And I remember I was looking at the floor, like trying to hide. Then I thought, oh wait a minute, this is a nightmare. And then I remember like the stalls, like the walls of the stall just fell down, and then I was flying. I was like, all right, cool, I can do whatever I want.
Wow, really? Did you fly?
Damn.
Yeah.
You controlled that?
Yeah.
See, the one time I had a lucid dream, Dream Miles fucking ruined it. I was on a train. It was also being chased by somebody. It was a nightmare. And halfway through the chase, I realized I was dreaming. So because I still didn't want to get caught for some reason, I begged everybody on the train to make as much noise as possible so I would wake up in the real world. Because I was a little kid, and that was my logic. And then I woke up. And now looking back on it, I had a golden opportunity that I passed.
Yeah,
up.
you could have.
I really could have fucked up whoever was chasing me.
Yeah.
And also flown.
Can I get time?
I think people always go straight to flying if they're in
Why is
control.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's something people want to do.
Yeah.
How come
That's why I want to sleep underwater one day because I
Okay,
think
what?
I'll dream about flying.
you could probably do with a tube? They'd have to like really clamp it on there though.
Yeah, if I was just like floating
Like a
in
helmet?
nothingness, like astronauts must get that when they're, I mean, they sleep in little bags. But if they were just floating around aimlessly, I think that'd be some interesting dreamage.
Is that dude back from his year in space? Is he coming back?
I think he came back today, right?
He came back today?
Scott Kelly?
Yeah. It's correct. Some couple things have happened that are weird. He's back now. And then did you hear that the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas
Yes.
spoke for the first time in 10 years.
And they said there were
What?
audible gasps in the chamber.
He's
Didn't you
gone-
just mention that he never spoke?
I did. I was talking about he made a joke about a colleague from Yale, and that's like literally the only thing he said in the Supreme Court as a justice for 10 years.
Yeah, they said he has.
He
The
just sits
last
there.
time he spoke, I believe, was February 22nd, 2006.
Oh, what, he spoke to tell a joke?
That's the one time he broke in the 10 years.
though.
Yeah, it was like too good to pass up. It's like a Yale joke. Hey, dig. What I want to know is this. So, when you're sleeping, sometimes when you fall asleep on a plane, Gus, you fall asleep how? Show me your posture as you fall asleep on the plane. That's Gus sleeping on the plane.
No,
And
I'm the
sometimes
same,
you don't
but-
start like that because you start to sleep before you can lean your seat
Yeah.
back. And sometimes I'll do this. This is what I'm assuming happens. I do this.
I hate that.
I do that. But why does doing this feel like I've done this? It's like I feel like I've gone all the way down to the floor. I've gone all the way down to the floor, and then I like pop back up. And I think like everybody in my row saw me like leaned all the way over sleeping.
Yeah, but it's,
I
like,
know
tiny.
that's not possible.
I don't know. I'll fall asleep with my forehead on the back of this chair in front of me for whatever reason. So I'm just sleeping like.
That'd be great. The problem I have, I don't know if anybody else has this problem. Like if I fall asleep seated up, like if I don't recline my seat and I'm like this, right, and I fall asleep, I feel like if I sleep for any amount of time, my tailbone hurts. Like
What?
all my weight
Really?
is down right there on my ass.
Do you have a long tail? Does it
No.
go lower down in your ass than most people?
I don't know. I've
got a skinny butt, though.
Yeah, I got no fat on my ass, so that might be part of the problem.
Bony butt.
Yeah, that's so I was like, oh man, my butt. Then I got like I'm walking weird when I get off the plane. It's just bad
Just
news.
from sleeping or just from
yeah,
sitting?
from sleeping because like when I'm sitting, at least you can readjust every now and
Yeah,
then.
you
When you
have your
sleep, you're
balance
just pretty much.
You might have a gammy butt.
I might have a gammy butt.
Yeah.
It's like that episode of King of the Hill where Hank Hill had to have the butt.
I always think of
implants.
the King of the Hill butt. I'm like,
Should I talk about that guy's
King of the
app
Hill
that he's
butt.
talking to me about on the plane?
Yeah.
Let me.
Because
let
it's
me
in the
read
App
this.
Store.
Can we talk about that? Let me read this and talk about your app on the plane.
I don't remember the name of it, but he talking about it's an interesting concept to me.
Okay.
It was like Uber, but for cameras in the world. Like you say, I want to know what they're cleaning the gum wall in Seattle. I want to see that, and I want to go to Seattle to see it. And so I just type in somebody in that region, go look at the gum wall, and give me a video of it. And then you guide the person. Like they accept your request. They're in Seattle. They walk over to the gum wall. They hold up. They start doing a live stream to you, and you get directions like turn left, turn right, and it appears on their screen. They just turn left and turn right. Like they're your camera.
That's
I love this idea.
It's a great
This is
idea.
a great idea.
It's a great idea,
And
right?
the person filming gets paid to do it, right? By the
Yes.
person watching.
They get, I believe, what did he say? Was it 80 cents a minute?
This
$8 every 10
exists?
minutes?
Yeah, it's like being a cabbie, but with your phone.
That's weird.
See the practical applications of this. They're just like they'll run amok in your head here, Gus. Like private investigator.
Yeah, like follow my wife.
Well, obviously with the insurance thing, but sure, follow my wife. Yeah,
It's like there's going to be new laws based on that crap, probably.
yeah. It's a really interesting concept, I think.
I love it.
Yeah, I gotta remember the name of the app.
I was talking to someone the other day about this, about how I think it might be fun to be an Uber driver. I've thought about like signing up to just like every now and then just to see what it's like. Just drive around and cart people around.
You gotta
imagine
ask me
someone
what I
who
would do
knows
with the
you?
$1 million if I won the Amazing Race. Right? That's the first thing they ask. I just got asked in an interview the other day. Say they won't. I of course can't say if I won or not. But they say if you won, what would you do? And I say the same thing. Is that if I win the Amazing Race and I win $1 million, I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce and I'm going to Uber drive with a Rolls Royce. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'll sell the Rolls Royce at some point. But I think it'd be funny to have a Rolls
Imagine
Royce
someone just orders a normal Uber.
and a
And
Rolls
it just
Royce
says
pulls up.
Burnie and then a Rolls Royce. You're like, what? Especially someone who knows who you are.
I was about to imagine if they knew who you were.
Yeah,
No,
that'd be really cool.
Dude, hit me with that trail mix, dog.
No, I still
Why
good.
don't we
Wait,
just-
I'm going to pick up all the
Why
chocolate.
don't we
out of
just
it.
rent a Rolls Royce Phantom and just do that for like a week? Make
probably
videos.
really expensive to rent
Buddy.
a Rolls Royce.
I got
Yeah,
two
but
chips in that whole thing.
content. Make money on the video.
Yeah, you have to get waivers signed by people, and they have to agree to it. Then you have to talk to them.
Hey,
You don't have to. I've given people huge tips because I never even tried to talk to them. I was like,
Occasionally
"You
on
do
the
it." You can
podcast-
tell.
That's 5 stars right there.